All right, guys, so we were off on opening higher, but that's actually a good thing. Like I was telling people, on Friday, they'd want to open up in the midst of this erratic behavior back and forth at the end of the day here. We revisit a crest that was an opportunity. That's that right there. Hopefully, people bought into short positions. And the plan is to close in the midst of a decline out of the open. The fact that we didn't open higher and then decline is even more beneficial for those shorts. So I think that's one, two. I believe that's two. Been off on two of them so far. Not the best on two of the opens out of what is that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Two out of seven. Well, let's see. Right, and so we had this failed attempt to break through key resistance here in the pre-market, followed by a decline through key support. And right around the open, we should have a resistance level that's highlighted that we failed to break through many times before. It's probably this right here. Right, but be careful because we've got this brief peak at the high that's easily missed, followed by there's a notable rally into the high, but there's a unicursal there. It's a nullified high card indicating that likely what it's indicating is that we have a higher price level on the 12th, but it's also indicating that there's some sort of really significant sharp behavior that makes the behavior going into the high irrelevant. So this notable move out of the high, a brief peak that's easily missed, which is probably somewhere here around 11 o'clock. If I'm off around 11 o'clock, then it'd be right around 1 o'clock. But this is a tricky ruin. This ruin indicates some sort of risk of being misled right here. So this decline in the open is the opportunity to close out of the shorts we were talking about opening up around here at the end of the day on Friday. And my original idea was to open up a long when I close the short, close the long here. But I think I'm probably going to steer clear of long positions, long trades today, just based on the theme card being the decline increasing with the momentum moving forward in time. It's advised not to trade against the overall theme trend card, right? Just like if you were trading, you don't want to trade against the trend, right? You want to trade with the overall trend. It's the same thing with the prediction. You want to trade with the overall trend, right? Which is to the downside. It is going to be kind of erratic though. I think we've got more of this like erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. Remember what I said about Friday, that we have this cross-trading congruency with the pleasure card there on Friday, indicating that as far as the sequence of events on the 1 month, the pleasure card here was that energy was at least initiated on the 8th rather than here on the 11th. We might still be in the midst of it because we're kind of like in this little bit of like no man's territory. This card here correlates to the victory card, but it isn't the victory card. But what that does indicate is that there's a pretty big move off of the low, and then that move to the upside off of the low is followed by decline with consecutively lower spikes up. But I think probably there's a low there at the end of the day. We open higher the following day. Pretty notable move to the upside out of the prior day's low at the end of the day. And it seems like we've been ahead a day on the sequence of events versus the timing. Sequence of events has been really solid, but it does seem that we've been ahead a day for the most part, right? Like we had a high here on the, well, that's pretty solid. But then we have a low here on the 6th. It ends up being on the 5th. We have this high here on the 11th. It looks like it ended up being here on the 8th. So we're a day ahead. But I think we're probably still going to hang out near highs and have sharp drops and then moves to the highs and then sharp drops. It's going to be a really wild week, like I was saying last week, guys. really, really wild week with at least two unicursal hexagram drops. So we're in the money now. But I'm gonna wait it until about what we've got this move here at the beginning of the day. This is going to be to that resistance, like I said, that'll be highlighted that we failed to break through many times before. Very likely it's the science card that we had marked off here. So I'm not going to get scared out of my short here. I'm going to wait, be poised to close around 10 o'clock in the midst of a decline there. Whew, look at that move. Oh, that's today. Jeez, whoa. Look at that move, guys. So that decline at the beginning of the day was obviously the Ace of Swords or Ace of Cups opportunity. I would be very, very careful about this high, guys, because there's a unicursal off of this high, meaning that we're gonna decline pretty hard. There's gonna be a lot of volatility. We're gonna decline off of this high pretty hard, and then we may revisit the high on the 12th or the 13th, possibly. It's hard to say, but there's a lot of volatility off of this high, and then we go into deep lows after this little area right here, guys. So be mindful of that. So if you're just hopping on, guys, what we're doing is we're waiting for this opportunity around 10 o'clock in the midst of a decline to close out of the short positions that I advised we open up here around 514. So far, everything's looking pretty solid, right? We had this failed attempt breakthrough key resistance in the pre-market, followed by a decline through key support. We have right at the open this resistance level that we failed to break through many times before is highlighted, and then we go into this decline right out of that. And that correlates to the death card as well. if you're new to the channel, guys, you are correct. I am trading utilizing tarot and technical analysis combined. It's called ESO-meta analysis, the third form of analysis. And it's way more accurate than technical analysis, fundamental analysis, or any other form of BS analysis, if you ask me. And this is a unicursal hexagram price level right here. We're probably going to go through this one on that came back from 2.9 even. Yeah, there at the beginning of the day, that dip right there, opportunity to open up long position, big move to the upside. And this is probably around this price level. We'll very likely be able to call this price level here the Ace of Swords price level, which is the next card on the sequence of events. A lot of volatility to and from an Ace of Swords price level. You can utilize it. You can usually use it as an entry for a short and then an exit for a long shortly thereafter. So on Friday, I also advised that in the midst of this morning decline that I'd want to open up a long position and close that long position in the midst of a rally here around like 10 or 11 o'clock. But I'm actually retracting that advisement. I don't think it's advisable to open up a long position today. It's going to be wild. We'll see bullish behavior, but overall it's going to be a decline. The overall theme card being a decline increasing with the momentum moving forward in time. So you don't want to trade against the trend of the overall theme card. That's not advisable. Just like you don't want to trade against the overall trend in the market. It's the exact same thing. This is the overall trend right now, right? So we had an issue with our editor, and I just got a new video editor, so we're a little bit behind on the April. Normally, all the April predictions would have been out before the start of the month of March. But I mean, the person we had editing was so slow. It was like ridiculous. I had videos that were like recorded a month prior. That I have videos that were recorded on February 2nd that still aren't out. April videos. It's like so aggravating. But we should be pretty caught up relatively soon, like next couple of days. So if you got early access or you've got one of the monthly subscriptions, the April readings are either out or coming out very, very soon, like today or tomorrow. Um, and then what I'm working on now are a bunch of the 1 years that we had ordered earlier in like February. So if I'm wrong, and there isn't this decline here, as much of a decline as I would have liked to have seen here into the 10 o'clock hour, I will just hold my short position and close my short position at the end of the day. But you want to be careful not to get scared out. If that's what takes place, you want to be careful not to get scared out here in this big move that takes place somewhere between 10 and 12. We have a lot of this decline increasing with momentum too. The correlation, a lot of it at the end of the day. There's some here in the first half hour as well, but there's also some here at the end. A lot more at the end of the day as well. And we also have a low before noon. So we have this low. It looks like either in the pre-market, either that or we're coming up on it very very soon. And then there's another low somewhere between 11 and 12, followed by one right around the close. This looks like the drop right here. Yeah, and I want to see the RSI come down to like right around the 30s, maybe even poke through. That would be nice to see for like a signal to exit. Sure thing, proof. When I'm done with my trade, I'll take a look. I don't want to get distracted right now. So I pretty much nailed that as the resistance level that we've failed to break through many times before. That will be highlighted around the open, and then from that the decline. Well, that's my dog's vomit. I'm taking him to the vet. Sorry, guys. Sorry you had to see that. So this might be the turnaround. That's a little bit early though. I think we probably go lower still. So guidance on SNX and RDNT for the week. Overall trend direction for SNX throughout the week, the present week. I have a prominent move higher followed by a full retracement back down. So from where we are, we probably see a higher price level and then at least as low. Or from wherever this decline stops, I would say, we probably see a big move out of it and then probably come back to that low of where the decline ends. Let's look at it on a weekly basis. I mean, on a day-to-day basis. I'm looking at it on a 1 month or a 1 day chart. So overall to the upside there, on Monday, Tuesday we have a sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a rally. So somewhere between the end of Tuesday and somewhere in Wednesday, we have a rally taking us into key resistance on a multi-day scale, and we'll kind of flatten out there. On Thursday, it's going to look like we break through that resistance, but we don't. We turn around and we break down through key support instead. And then on Friday, we have a rally increasing with momentum moving forward in time. That's SNX. RDNT. Overall trend direction for Radiant Capital. We have a rally into a key resistance on a multi-day scale, and then we break down with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. On a day-to-day basis, ooh, okay, so we have an unexpected move higher today. That move continues higher tomorrow, continues higher on Wednesday. We have price swings on Thursday, and then it looks like a really sharp drop on Friday, like a really sharp drop on Friday. FYI. Sometimes it's good to get my mind off of it. It's like watching a kettle boil or a pot boil, you know? It doesn't happen until you stop looking at it. Coming up on that RSI. I switched to a 5-minute chart because when you're looking to exit a trade, a 1-minute chart is kind of like the leading indicator, but you want to look at it and see if you've got more time on like a slower indicator, like a 5-minute or 15-minute. Yeah, I'd probably get out of RDNT on Wednesday. Or maybe even in the midst of the rally higher tomorrow, you know, with the momentum. All right, so I think I'm probably going to get out. Well, I'm probably getting out a little early. No, I'm going to wait a little longer. 10 o'clock. I'm going to wait a little longer. It might be that if it looks like we're breaking through this, we might have a sharp drop off of it. But I want to be very careful not to wait too long because the card coming out of that trough is a fast, sudden move higher, right? So like I probably take it right at 10. You're welcome, Proof. So if you're just hopping on, guys, I'm looking to exit the trade that I advised people to get into. If they didn't get into the short at the beginning of the day uh, on Friday, then they were advised to get into it here. Either way, in the midst of the decline out of the open is where we would want to exit out of that short for a good swing trade. And then I'm looking to get back in here in the midst of this move to the upside. I probably open up a partial short again. At the end of the day, I'm very likely going to open up a long, like around 2 to 3 o'clock. We really nailed that though. When it was still pre-market, we advised that this right here, this yellow line would be approximately where that resistance level that would be highlighted that we failed to break through many times. And you can see right there, boom. See how many times we failed to break through it? And then there's a bunch in the pre-market. Also, a pretty difficult day to determine where the high is as far as the timing because of the nullification. If you don't know what I mean by nullification, in other words, this high card, this card representing the high correlation, has no relationship to any of the cards on the timeline, making it very difficult to determine where. But I think we probably have a sharp drop here, and it might be that we already saw the high. It might be. All right, I'm getting out here, guys. It's a pretty good gain for over the weekend. Not bad. I've seen a lot better for options, but hey, a gain is a gain is a gain. And we're probably going lower just to be clear, but I like to be safe and take my profits when I have them and reposition myself. I think we probably go lower. Might even be a sharp low here. But I just want to be very mindful of this fast sudden move higher here. What makes me think we probably go lower is because we've got this low signification here. There's low correlation, I should say, indicated in red. Definitely looks like we're going to go lower based on that little mark there. But sometimes that little extra move is a fake out too. You got to be very careful about utilizing that as an indication. And like I said, we probably go into this RSI. That when we hit this 30 mark, that's where you want to go. Reason why I get out early, knowing that I probably got out early, is because I don't want to risk this, like, missing the opportunity and getting this big move to the upside and taking away the profits. So we do probably go lower, like I said. All right, guys, with that said, I'm going to roll. Kind of a quiet Monday morning. Took a good profit there. Be careful for that turnaround, this big move to the upside. In the midst of that move to the upside, somewhere between 10 and 11, I want to take open up another open up another short position, which you can close for a day trade at the end of the day, or you can close it not the following day, but probably here in the morning on the 13th. I want to open up a long. I'll be on probably around the time that I open up the long, somewhere between 2 and 3, which I close at the end of the day, it looks like. Oh, no, actually, I could close it at the beginning of the day based on this Princess of Disc correlation to all this stuff going on here. All right, my friends, thank you all so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do.